Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm shooting from this beautiful rental house. We are just in between homes, from our old to the new. We're still waiting for it to get ready for us, and yes, I'm shooting from here. It looks like a good change of scenery, I'm not gonna lie. So today I decided to do an assumption videos. I know that there's so many people out there that have a certain idea of me or things that they assume about me. So I thought it would be fun to just post this question on my Instagram stories and to get a bunch of random assumptions and to really choose kind of the best of all of them and to answer and to kind of, I guess, put the record straight. Is that how you say it? You put the record straight, you get it straight. You set the record straight. Yes, Emma. Set the record straight. Okay, got the questions and I'm just gonna get into it. Question number one. I assume that you have so many ex-boyfriends. I would say that I had two previous serious relationships before Gary. The rest was I was kind of dating here and there, mostly because the nature of my work, I was traveling a lot and I couldn't really maintain a long-term relationships. But the first serious relationship was like a year, and then the second was 2 years, and then I met Gary. That's it. You prefer spending money on designer bags than shoes? No, I would say that it's even. For me, there's not a lot of shoes that I feel are kind of staples. Like, I kind of got my staples in my closet, and I'm not the kind of person who spends a lot of money on like very trendy shoes, like something crazy. So yes, I would prefer to spend my money on bags because I feel like that's the one accessory that just transforms an outfit for me. So I love my collection that I've built. 3, you have OCD. I actually don't, surprisingly, unless I do and no one told me, but I don't feel like I have an OCD. 4, you wouldn't have had another kid if you didn't have as much help around you. That is correct. I know my limits. I do not portray myself to kind of be I do it all by myself, and I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it should be expected from women. I knew that I want to build my career, and children are a lot of work. A lot of you young girls don't even know, like, it's so much work, and stay-at-home moms are the hardest working people in the world. And I just kind of knew what I need and want to make myself happy. And I think you have to be very self-aware and real. Having the children, it's the easy part. It's the raising them and making sure you're not extending yourself financially and just like all these things. So there's a lot of things that you have to think about before you bring children to the world. Okay, next question. You are shy when you meet someone you don't know. I wouldn't say I'm shy. I would say that I'm more of a reserved person. So something that I don't do is just kind of have emotional diarrhea about my life and who I am and what I do and where I'm going. And it's funny enough, there's quite a bit of people that do that, I've noticed. And I don't know if it's because they want to feel a connection with someone or because they just kind of have no one else to talk to, but I don't do that. I'm pretty reserved and I kind of keep my distance, but I'm very open and very outgoing. You fight about your kids' upbringing. That is incorrect. Gary and I are pretty aligned with the way we want to raise our kids. I mean, we obviously have a lot of discussions about it, and we always voice our opinions, but we always kind of find, we have the same base of morals and values, so we always find kind of a solution for whatever kind of issue is in front of us, and that's gonna keep happening. I think that communicating about this is very important because we do want to seem like a very strong front in front of our kids, because 3 boys, there's got to be control in this house. You used to be insecure growing up. Yes, that is very, very correct. And I do talk about it a lot. And I think why I talk about self-love and self-care so much is because it's something that, my journey with this started not that long ago. And a lot of people assume that you love yourself and you care about yourself and you have this strong confidence and self-esteem, especially if you look a certain way, and that's not true. I think that a lot of us are battling this self-doubt and insecurities and self-esteem issues, and a low self-image and self-respect. I think all of us fight it in one way or another. So that's kind of what is probably the biggest message that I want to bring to the world through my content. So yes, I just know how much I've changed and how many doors I opened for myself once I started really appreciating who I am and being self-aware of who I am and learning, you know, about my strengths and weaknesses. And it's still a journey, by the way. I'm still not all the way there. You are a messy person. I am messy, yes. I think that it's something that goes really against my Virgo nature. I love when things are clean, but I just feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. And thank God that Gary's the same, because otherwise it would be a really, really bad combo. No, it is a bad combo. Like it's always messy in our house. We also have small children, so we kind of put the blame on them. You get mad easily. I actually don't. I feel like I'm pretty, like I've learned how to breathe properly and just kind of let it go. I'm trying to remind myself in situations where I get really frustrated that, you know, those are things that don't really matter and they don't worth the energy and my nervous system to go down because of it. So I really try to stay as calm as I can, and most of the time it works, and there are times that it doesn't at all because life tests you every single day. But I think that it's something that I'm always kind of trying to be aware of, conscious of, and work on it. But I would say that naturally I don't get angry really fast. You have never had short hair before. I actually have. I had a short hair before, but it was by mistake. It's not something that I wanted. So I went to get a haircut and I had really long hair like I have now. And I just said that I want something to feel fresher. And I guess the hairdresser decided that that means let's chop 90% of her hair. So I came out with basically like a long bob and I hated it. And I felt so weird. And I had no personality for like months until my hair started growing back. So never again. You are pregnant. To the no. I had a baby 4 months ago. You never thought you would be this successful at this age. I think it depends what your definition of success is. For me, I'm super happy where I'm at in life, but I know that there's so much for me to still learn and become. I am grateful for all the circumstances and situations that happened to me that just kind of helped me to get where I am. But I also know that, you know, I've worked hard and I'm dedicated, and I have a really, really good work ethic, which did not come to me easily. So I think that I always kind of knew that I am gonna find something of my own and push on it. I never really had like an age thing. It's not like now when we have social media and we see like these 24-year-olds that are CEOs and selling companies for $100 million. Like I didn't have that comparable for myself growing up. So I think that it's much more stressful today for young people because there's so much of this like success around them. But for me, success is just to really feel good about who I am, what I do, and to be excited and happy with what I do and passionate about it. So I feel really happy now. You were very wild and a partier as a teenager, especially during your modeling days. Yes, that is correct. I used to party a lot because there was nothing else to do. We would go out all the time, and you know, for a teenager, I mean, being 16, 17 in Paris or Japan or wherever it is, especially if you're a model, I mean, there are literally clubs that just, you know, you don't have to pay to get a table or drinks or dinner or anything like that because they want to attract models to their clubs. So we were totally taking advantage of it. I have some amazing memories of just girls that were my roommates throughout the years in different countries, and we would like party all the time. I was over it pretty early in my life. You are lactose intolerant. No, not correct. No, I'm not actually. I think it's because in the Russian culture, we are so used to so much dairy in everything, so I am not. Your relationship with your mother wasn't always as good as it is now. I think that's something that my mom did that was so helpful for both of us. Was she was never really babying me. She never really portrayed the world like perfect, you know, good place always. She was very real and honest with me, which I think was very good. At times it was a little much because at times as a single mother, I think that, you know, you become kind of a best friend with your child, especially in my teen years. You know, she was going through divorce and things like that, so I think that was a little tough for me at times, because I just wanted her to be my mom and not treat me as her friend and tell me all these things, because those are like, we're grown-up heavy stuff. But I also know that I was the closest thing to her, and she needed someone at that time. So I would say that at that time, when I was about 16 and she moved to Canada and I was kind of doing my own thing, living on my own, I got a little more disconnected from her. She never did. She was always super invested. She would call me 15 times a day. But for me, I was kind of like going through a time where I needed to figure out who I am and, you know, as a person, as an individual. So I kind of disconnected myself. And because she was so far away, it was very easy for me to kind of separate from kind of that, my family. So I did that, and I did that for about 2-3 years, and then I had enough of it, and I figured out who I am on my own, you know, without having my mother and father tell me who I am. So then when I moved to Canada, we kind of got reconnected and became really close. And I mean, now that I am a mother and I have kids of my own, we're beyond close, because not only do I understand all the sacrifice and everything that she went through, but it's just, I am a grown-up now, so I get it. And now we're like best friends, and she can tell me anything because I'm a grown-up too, and I get it. You spend 1 hour a day putting on and removing makeup. No, I think that it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to put on makeup, and I would say maybe 15 minutes to take it off, and that's with my skincare routine. I'm really quick. You have to be quick when you have kids because you have no time. You never get depressed. This is something really interesting. I feel like I've never really been like, it was never this big issue in my life. I never battled like serious depression or anxiety like a lot of other people do. That I'm really happy that today mental health and mental issues, you know, it's encouraged to talk about it and to ask for help. I think it's so important. I never really went through a phase where I got to a point where I really just needed help. A lot of the kind of downtimes that I was going through in my life were, you know, when my parents got divorced, or when I was really lonely in the beginning and working, and just like throughout teen years. I mean, hormonally we're all over the place, but I always kind of found an outlet, if it's through writing or, you know, socializing or talking to my friends. But yeah, I can say that I have these like really dark times in my mind that I remember. Next question. You have daddy issues / you want to have a strong relationship with your biological father. So the first part of the question, you have daddy issues, I'm sure I do, because that's something that was always kind of weird and unstable in my life. Although I have a stepfather that was with me from the age of 5 to 16, and he was, you know, a real father. But yeah, I think that I'm slowly, as you know, life goes on, I'm slowly kind of reaching deeper and deeper and touching those issues that I have, and a lot of those issues were kind of solved when I met my biological father. Do I want to have a relationship with him? No, because I don't know that person. I mean, he's my biological father, but they got divorced when I was 2 months. There's really nothing. It was really nice to see all these similarities and mannerism and like physically that we look alike, but I don't have like a hole that I need to fill in my life. So that's the reason why I kind of didn't pursue maintaining that relationship. Regarding the daddy issues, that's something that, you know, I'm still working on it. I'm sure I have it. Maybe that's why I married an older man as well. Like I just, you know, that protection, and that maybe I lacked growing up having like a man figure in my life. I don't know. It's a heavy subject. There's a lot of things that I feel like, small nuances that I recognize. You never feel insecure about your appearance. That's not true at all. I think that every woman, for some reason, we are kind of programmed to feel always insecure about something. I think that it's, you know, this comparison thing that we do to ourselves, especially now with social media. I'm working on it, and I'm getting much better. Like I got so much better than I was even 5 years ago. I'm like on a different level now. I feel more comfortable in my skin. I like myself more, and I think it shows. and I'm not trying to be someone that I'm not. So I think that really helped me to just be more confident and secure in the way I looked and the way I act. You have a favorite kid? No, that's like the biggest no question to ask a parent. There is no a favorite kid. No, it never happened. You had to grow up really quickly. Yes, definitely I had to grow up really quickly because I left the house really young, and I started working young, and I kind of just started the grown-up life much younger. So it really accelerated the whole process for me. And I was just telling, like, we had dinner with the girls from Valeria Inc. the other night, and I was just telling them, like, I never had a teenage experience really. I mean, I left high school, I was 15. Like the traditional structure of high school, I was still like, I finished high school, but I was doing it on a program where I study by myself and I just show up for exams. So I never really had that experience, if it's socially or any of like prom, like any of those events, it never really happened to me. So yeah, definitely had to grow up pretty fast. But I think that's also something that I chose for myself. I mean, I decided to pursue the modeling career, and I decided to start traveling and living in different countries and cities in the world. No one made me. I just knew that, you know, that's kind of my journey, and I chose that journey. You don't spend that much time with Maximus. It's funny because I saw like maybe 1 or 2 comments throughout the videos on YouTube about like the fact that I don't spend time with Maximus. So I mean, I have to be really honest. As any mother of more than 1 child, with every child, especially when the other ones are a little older and require more like attention mentally, yes, the 3rd child basically kind of raises itself. I definitely don't spend as much time with Maximus as I spent with Jake, because it was just Jake and I. But I'm trying my best. I mean, I'm trying to be as present as I can. I think for Maximus and I, we spend a lot of time together at night. I put him to sleep, I'll give him a bath, or, you know, at night when he wakes up to eat, I'll feed him. But yeah, during the day, I'm either with the boys with their activities or I'm working. But I'm trying to like remind myself how fast the baby stage goes, and that I need to be more present. And I mean, yes, you always have that guilt and you try to do your best, and I try to do my best. You didn't want kids before you met Gary. Before I met Gary, I never even thought about kids. Like, I was really young, I was at a different stage in my life. I didn't even think about kids. You never thought you would have this much support from your fans. I have to say, my social media community, like my online community, just makes me believe that there's so much goodness in the world, and there's so many amazing, beautiful minds out there. And I think that's the best gift that it gave me, because, you know, we can get so cynical about life, reading the news or just like meeting bad apples on our way in life. And I think that just being exposed to these intelligent, strong, awesome women that have similar interests like mine, it's really great. And I'm super thankful for that. And on days where I just feel like I just can't do it anymore, that's what keeps me going. You were popular in high school. Definitely not popular. I don't even think people knew I went to high school with them. I don't even know if I was in a yearbook. I was so invisible, you guys. I had like 1 or 2 friends, and I was just like sitting in the corner with them, listening to like emo music. Yeah, that was it. No one really knew who I was or what I was about, really. So I was not popular in high school. You don't see Gary that much, and that leads to you two not being as in love as you show it. I actually see Gary a lot, especially now where, you know, he's very involved at Valeria Inc. and we work together all the time. I love spending time with him. It's definitely a different dynamic when you work together. I love it. I really love it. I feel like we just communicate so much better, and I learned so much from him. We have all these like visions and ideas of how we want to do everything and to build our lives, and it's awesome that we can both do it and work towards that goal. So I can definitely say that I love him more now than I loved him when we got married. I think that with life, you know, having our children and going through difficulties as a couple, you just learn to appreciate your partner so much more, and that love is just so much more deeper and so much more substantial. So I really, really love him. You never eat junk food. That's not correct. I love junk food, and I definitely eat it, especially with small kids that just, there's always French fries somewhere. I'm not sure why, but I do try to balance it with having green smoothies and with taking my supplements and, you know, being conscious of making better choices. You never swear. I love swearing. I love swearing so much, and Gary is like, hates when I swear, and I feel like it's also so out of character for me, but I don't know, I love it. But I don't anymore because Gary doesn't like it and there's kids around, so I mean, I don't want my kids to tell at school how mommy talks. You sleep in a glass tube to prevent aging. How did you guys know? Are you spying on me? No, for real. What's a glass tube and where do I buy it? You hate getting comments about you and your husband's age difference. I think that I expected. It's already like, it doesn't really bother me anymore. I feel like it will always be, you know, this juicy thing to talk about, and I'm cool with it. That's cool. So if people ask me, or, you know, and I have legit like people that DM me about it, just really want to know like, how is it, and I'm super open about it, and you know, so I don't mind anymore. You regret your nose job. I don't know if I regret it. I think that, as I mentioned in my nose job video, in case you guys didn't watch, I'll put it here. As I mentioned in the video, I don't know if I would have done it again, knowing what I know today, or just, you know, knowing that it wouldn't fix my issues that I had with myself. But I wouldn't say like I regret it. When you first met Gary, you knew he was the one. When I first met Gary, I don't actually remember him much, because when I met him, it was when I just arrived to Canada. So that was the first time I met him. But I would say that I knew he was the one probably like the third or fourth time we met. You wished you had a girl. Honestly, I love being a boy's mom. I'm obsessed with my boys, and if we decide to have more kids and they're all gonna be boys, I'd be super happy. It would be nice to have a girl, but I mean, as long as I have healthy, happy children, I have no complaints. Gary is your first love. Yes, definitely. Gary is definitely my first love, because what I thought was love before was very different than what I think what love is now. So yes, Gary is my first love. You love public speaking and you're super confident. Is this a joke? I hate public speaking, and I'm so not confident, and it scares the hell out of me. And I just also had, you know, actually I think like a week or 2 weeks ago, I had an opportunity to speak in front of audience of just like business students, and it was so terrible and so embarrassing, and I completely failed at whatever I was supposed to do. But I'm happy that it happened, because it not only that, you know, the worst thing that I thought can happen happened, and I survived, and life goes on. So that's number one. I think that sometimes we, you know, lose perspective about things. So not only did it remind me of that, but it also showed me that, you know, this is something you need to really work on and to improve, because it doesn't come naturally to you. So get to work. I think that because I put kind of all my intentions and thought about that, because I really want to get better at it, I have these opportunities coming my way. And there's actually a big conference that's happening in March, which is basically about women in leadership, and it's also from a university, and there's gonna be lots of people, and they want me to be one of the speakers for 45 minutes. I am freaking out. I'm so scared, I can't even tell you. I'm so scared. But I'm gonna use my work ethic and my dedication really hard on this one, and I am gonna try to be really prepared and just do my best. And I'll probably have to take a little shot before I go on stage. I'm so scared. I can't even talk about it. Oh my god. I assume you are a workaholic. Yes, I think so. I think that I do really love what I do, and I love my work, and I feel so happy to have this. And thank God that I have my kids, because I think they are the ones who are bringing that balance into my life. They kind of remind me sometimes to pull back and to, you know, put work aside and just focus on this. But I love working. You just love working when you do something that you love. It's that simple. There's like the saying, if do what you love and you won't have to work a day in your life. They're right. You never been dumped. Oh, have I ever been dumped? Yeah, I think I had like 2 guys that broke my heart. I mean, it wasn't like this dramatic thing, but they dumped me, and one was completely like just ignored my existence. So it happens. You're not a person who deals with daily anxiety. So actually, funny enough, that kind of brings me back to how there was the assumption about depression, and I mentioned that I never, like growing up, I never dealt with any of this, you know, deep, heavy depression or anxiety. But I have to say that I feel like there is definitely more anxiety present in my life now. I think it's just because there's so many things going on, and I just get really overwhelmed sometimes. And I think that's why a lot of people today deal with anxiety. The world is so much faster, there's so much more information, there's so many things coming your ways. Yes, I can easily say that there are moments of anxiety throughout my day, almost every single day. But for me, I just learned to, first of all, kind of backtrack and focus at the one thing that I need to do right now, and not think about the rest of the things, and just kind of take it one task at a time and not overwhelm myself. It's definitely something that I'm still training myself to do. And that's it. Gary is your sugar daddy. Okay, what's the definition of sugar daddy? I need to know. Sugar daddy definition: a rich older man who lavishes gifts on a young woman in return for her company or sexual favors. So no, he's not a sugar daddy because we are married. He doesn't need to buy me gifts to have my company or sexual favors. But yes, I mean, it's not yes, I mean, it's not a secret. Gary is older than me, and he was well off when I met him, but you can't build a life based on that. I don't think people realize it, but marriage and kids, I mean, it takes to be with someone and to, you know, kind of decide to build a life with that person, takes a whole lot more than just gifts to do it. But yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of people assume that. Oh well. You never get drunk. I actually, honestly, now after having babies and my tolerance is basically non-existent, one glass of wine and I'm like, woohoo. You haven't spent a day in prison. No, I have not. That's correct. No prison for me. You actually have a 4th son called Luigi. Yes, that is correct. I do. I adopted him 2 weeks ago when when Benjamin just wouldn't let go of this whole Luigi part of the family things.
But you are his mom too.
I'm Mario's mom?
Yeah.
So yeah, Luigi is part of the family now. You compare yourself a lot to others. That's definitely something that I stopped doing, and I'm super happy about that. I used to do it a lot. It consumed so much of me, and yeah, I slowly kind of let it go and started working on it, and I can really say that I'm in a place where I don't really compare myself to others. I don't think that I would say that I completely never do it anymore. I think that you still do, and it's natural. Sometimes it's even a good thing to do, like a good exercise to motivate yourself, you know, and to kind of pump you up, to get you going on something that you want to achieve. So I still do that, but I try to not do it where, you know, it becomes like a negative thing that makes me feel bad about myself, or that I'm not good enough or pretty enough or this enough. That's definitely this self-sabotage thing that I stopped doing. You struggled with an eating disorder / were anorexic. No, I never had any eating disorder or having anorexia. Never had that. I was always naturally skinny. I'm petite in general, so I was skinny, and my mom always tried to overfeed me because I was so small, but I never had like specifically eating disorders problems. If you had a daughter, you would be more strict with her than your sons. I don't think so. I think that in general, the way I view, you know, raising kids is that yes, they do need discipline and they need order, but I also love giving them the space of expressing themselves and figuring out their voice. I would do the same if I had a girl, for sure. You wish Gary wasn't bald. Actually, I saw a picture of Gary with hair. Maybe we can attach one here. And I did not like it. And I straight up told him, if I would have met you with hair, I would have never, like this Would have never happened. So yay for boldness. Couple last questions. So you are not a jealous wife. That is correct. I think that I'm not a jealous wife because I know my husband, like I know Gary, and I know that he is the most respectful and honest person, and I just know that I have no reason to worry at all. If I ever felt like I had a reason to worry, I probably wouldn't marry him, because I don't want to spend my energy and, you know, thinking about these crazy things in my head. Like, I'd rather build my empire. And last question, I assume you don't cook at all. Funny assumption. I used to cook a lot, especially after nutrition school. I was also not really working, so I had time to kind of experiment in the kitchen. The kitchen was never like my thing. Like, I never loved cooking. It was never a thing for me. My mom, on the other hand, is amazing. You can literally have potato and an egg and she'll like create the most amazing gourmet meal ever. I so don't have that. I like cooking sometimes, it depends on my mood, but honestly, not my thing. It's really not. Like, it's really important for people to know what they're good at and just concentrate on it, and cooking is just not it. And I'm super happy that we live at a time where there's companies like that's what we have at home. We have this meal delivery company where I choose the recipes and then they send you all the ingredients and the recipe, and then you make it. So it's all fresh, it's made at home, but I don't need to come up with the recipes and I don't need to think about how to make them. Everything is pretty like straightforward. So that's how I roll in this house. And that's it. These are all the assumptions that you guys sent our way and the ones that we thought would be interesting to share with you. I hope that answered or cleared some of them. And that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any other assumptions, you let me know. I'm here on YouTube answering your questions. Hit me up in the comment section. Love you guys and have an amazing day.